Let's go grass drag racing. All right, so what we got here is a 1977 TX340. This is my old grass drag racer. I used to race Tommy a lot with this and some other people too. Back, if you were from the area, in Minnesota, Wisconsin, you probably remember the CCVSC, the Chisago County Vintage Sled Crew. And not Chicago, Chisago. And we used to do a lot of grass drags back in the day. That kind of faded off. And this sled has been sitting there, kind of like I created my own barn find for probably about 10 years. So let's have a look at it. Let's see what kind of shape it's in. All right, taking a look at the skid. It doesn't look too horrible. Maybe I did put a new rear shock in it. I remember it was just wasted. The back axle's definitely got one side coming unscrewed. That'd be the side that's down. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought. It's got decent high facts on it. We're still going to drop it out. We're going to check all the bearings. The track is just an old track. It's been on there forever. It's got studs, you know, carbide tip studs, and that's enough to launch a 340 down a grass drag track. The skis have a little bit of carbide because I do want to turn, but they're pretty worn out. It doesn't really drag down much. So I'll probably leave that alone. Otherwise, the underside looks fair. So I pulled the hood off. That's nothing, just a couple bolts and the cable that, you know, keeps it from opening too far. And in no particular order, I gotta pull off the pipe, disconnect some wires and those, fuel line, take off the belt, and finally 3 motor mount bolts. Oh yeah, I'll probably just take the carbs right off the engine and leave them dangle on the cable, because we do have to clean the carbs. But at any rate, my point is, it's a free air. These are wonderful to work on. They're just so easy. They're light. Everything's great on them. So I'm going to get it out of there quick. So I noticed something I'm going to fix before it gives me a problem. It's staring right at you. Look at how worn these holes are. So I'm going to have the Y pipe off when I pressure check the motor anyways. So we'll put a little weld on there, grind them, dress them as required, and make it so they don't just break through on us. All right, everything's disconnected, unwired, belts off. You can see the carbs are over here. And, oh man, I love free air motors. That's nice. All right, give you a look at the motor all torn down. This is as far as I intend to tear it down, unless we find a leak or some other problem when we're pressure checking. So obviously stator side, got the exhaust off because I have to put block off plates on there to pressure check. Clutch side, got that off. And then I got plugs that go in the carb boots and will pressurize through the crank port here. But none of that's going to happen until I change the seals and glue the thing up. So I guess that's next. So this is all the materials I need for this. Just a Vertex seal kit. It looks like it is a 55136 and some 1184 3-bond. Yeah, maybe you like some other flavor 3-bond. Good for you. Use what you like. So now I got to knock this seal out, and the one on the other end, well, it just goes on with the screws. So just a little clean in there. I'll screw that on. Let's get this out of the way right now. Yeah, that's an actual tat of a 1978 TXL 340. And yeah, it looks like crap. It's because I got this dermaskin plastic over it, and all the blood and plasma and everything that oozes out is trapped under it. Makes it look dark. There's a big pool of dried blood right there. But this has got to stay on for 5 days. It's antibacterial. Makes it work real good. So I'll show you what it's going to look like without it right here. So there you go. I'll just leave that up while I continue talking. But I have another tat that you guys have never seen that we did the same thing with the dermaskin. Works great. Same deal. Tat kind of looked like crap under the plastic, but when you clean it off and get all the blood and everything off, it looks great. This was done by Idle. This is not a paid promotion. This was done by Idle Hands Tattoo in Isanti, Minnesota, and Cody was the artist on that. So just filling you in, because I know if I just continued working and I didn't show you this, you'd have a ton of questions. It's Thursday night, it's shop night, and the boys are a little concerned I've been working without them.
Nah, not at all. You got a life. We got a life.
Yeah.
There you go,
Nice
then.
shirt,
So-
guys. I really like the shirts you guys have on.
Dennis,
Hey,
you
I
feel
know,
left
right?
out. Well, at least it's a Polaris shirt. It's got the P.
It's a brap.
Yeah, wrap.
Brap.
All right, so you guys watching the video already know where we are, and these guys have seen it 100 times. But let's show you. So, you know, we were up to, we changed the seals and we're up to pressure checking. So I got these plugs for those without imagination. There's a third plug, and then blocking the exhaust, I got these soft rubber pieces and these block off plates over here. And if you can make these any way you want. They don't need to be real professional. They just need to fit and block it off. And the fancy part is this. This is a regulator and a ball valve and a 15 psi gauge. So that's it. You guys have all seen this before.
Yup.
And I've done it on plenty of videos. So I haven't checked it yet. I don't know if it's going to leak down or not. So let's do this. First things first, I'm gonna slowly turn the pressure up to, we're only going to 7 on this one. I know we go to 14 usually, but this is the old school seals, and especially on the PTO side, we could potentially blow that seal right out with too much pressure. So I just dial it up to 7. That's 6.5. And close the ball valve. And we got a leak. Look at how fast that's coming down.
Alright, where's the squirt bottle?
Yep.
Where's the squirt bottle?
Squirt bottle time. We'll just leave this open while we do the squirt bottle. We'll keep our 7 pounds on it. Oh, we found it.
Yeah.
Find it?
Yep,
Yeah,
it's this
big time.
seal. Holy cow.
Grab that, Lonnie.
All right.
Oh, button that on.
All right. You ready? Yep, right there.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So we'll blow that off and we'll seal it up with more sealant. That was not enough sealant.
Apparently not.
All right. That was easy. We'll be right back. All right. Lonnie's got a complaint about my carbs.
I am complaining. Yes. What are you thinking?
Yeah, that little cover's kind of rusty. The other one's nice.
Well, yeah, but what's interesting is the rusty one did not come out of the rusty cup. It came out of the clean cup.
That's because only one part's going to rust.
All right, Lonnie.
Not sure of that.
I'm going out. The junkyard will provide. All right, I think this Ultra chassis for another project has one 38 millimeter slide on it with the retainer. All right, it's going to take me 2 hands. I'll bring it in. Lonnie can take it apart. All right, how's the junkyard part?
We can go with that.
Adequate.
Adequate.
We've got a grade of adequate. So this thing then, that is kind of nasty.
Vertical file.
That's
Gone.
pretty bad.
All right, boys, Lonnie's doing his favorite thing. We all know what that is.
Clean
the carbs.
Well, I don't know. It's a toss up between this and bearings.
Yeah, Lonnie does like bearings.
Just kidding.
All right, we got a fresh mix of the cleaning solution in here, and if you look through the comments, you can actually find a link to order the stuff. It's mostly water. It's about a 10-to-1 mix with the stuff, and it's warming up, so my carbs will be super clean when we're done with this. All right, Lon is still. You can make 2. You're allowed to make 2 trips.
Okay.
To the Kid Sonic 6000, the brand new
Into the Kid Sonic. Oh, look at how clean that is.
new
Holy
juice in there.
shit.
Here's Lonnie back in his happy place.
Yup.
All right, that's not it for the video, but that's it for tonight. Because
Yeah.
what did we do? What did Lonnie do?
Clean the
clean
carbs.
All right, it's not quite 24 hours. It's more like 20 since we resealed the seal, but let's give it another check. So we'll slowly bump the pressure up to 7. As I mentioned earlier, I'd go 14 if this was the type of seal that was like ribbed into the case, like an Indy 500 or something would have. But this is old school. Well, keep alive there, phone. All right. Should be less than 1 psi per minute. That's looking pretty good already. All right, that is a solid pass. All right, I got the stator on. I torqued it down with this, of course, and the hammer, because you have to, or your stator will come loose. So then Glenn Sprague made this cool handle thing. It's really for triples, but it's got 6-bolt pattern on it. The flywheel's got a 4, but 2 of the bolts line up. And 60 to 65, so I set it to 62.5. Glenn couldn't stand me shoving a rope down the spark plug hole. I do have a little blue Loctite, medium strength, on the flywheel nut. That should do it. Let me look at that. Yeah, we're good there. All right, flywheel torqued, put on the exhaust and a few other things, and the housing and the recoil, and throw it back in the sled. All right, I said I was going to deal with this before the springs wore through there, because that'll put an end to your day. So guess I better do that right now. All right, so I ground them, both sides. I ran that drill bit through the holes. Turns out they were exactly 3/16 of an inch. And I'm going to clamp that piece of aluminum to it. Wish I had a piece of copper, but aluminum should work. The weld won't stick to it. And it's just to kind of limit the amount of cleanup grinding I got to do. All right, that's the back side. That's the top. Little grinding. And that one's going to need a little more welding. I didn't quite get it filled. Bummer. Actually, I can see a little air around this one too. We'll go weld some more on that. Right, that little repair is taken care of. I suppose it took me 10 minutes? Not long. Worth doing to make sure those springs weren't going to saw through those ears and have my exhaust come loose at some point. All right, motor's all dressed out. Everything's tight. Everything's torqued. Time to clean up these tools and get on to the chassis work. All right, chassis work. So let's start at the top at the fuel tank. Well, I had this thing down on the ground. I took a good look in there, rocked things back and forth. It's clean. There's no debris. The fuel, there's like nothing in it. I must have drained it down. And what's in it smells good. The pickup line looks good. Everything looks good. I'm not messing with it. We'll just put some fresh non-oxy with 40-1 in there. The fuel line up here, yeah, it still seems good. That filter looks good. Is it a Wix or a Fram? I can't read it. So, not much to do now that the carbs are done. So the skid, I am going to pull it out, check it over, even if I just end up, fixing this kind of dumb stuff and putting it back in. And while the skid's out, I will try to check the jack shaft and drive shaft bearings, make sure I'm happy with those, make sure the chain case is full. And unfortunately, I noticed, can you see that? I got to find some new skis. And it's not just one, it's both. Look at that. You can see the metal is just worn thin in there. It's not shocking. I'm not going to be able to weld those up. So, there we go. Pretty limited amount of chassis work, and then, well, let's get it back out and rip up the lawn a little bit. All right, so first thing I noticed on the skid was this, and no, that's not part of the seal. That's the wheel there is not on, or the bearing, no, the wheel is not on the shaft. So that's what's going on there. You can see the wheel walking all over because it's off the shaft, so we got to fix that. That bearing's good. We'll just check them all. That one's good. Good. I'll continue on and check them all. I'll replace any that need to be replaced. It does look like I put in a new shock in recent history, I think. I'll still disconnect the one end and check it out. I'll jump on the front shock and check that out. I don't know. That's about it. Make sure I get decent shocks. Maybe do a little greasing. Seems like there's a grease zerk there. And hopefully jam the skid back in. But for the moment, I'm going to set it aside and check out the drive shaft and jack shaft bearings. Got a little tripod action here, and I'm just going to try to do the laziest, quickest inspection I can. I'm shaking it. I'm checking for play. There's nothing. I mean, if this was a trail sled, I'd pull the drive shaft out, but I could feel right there. Everything's good. There's some inertia because I am spinning it, spinning up the chain case and spinning the secondary. But, that's a good thing too. But yeah, these bearings, drive shaft bearings feel fine. I'm not going in there. Jack shaft is usually fine. I mean, let's face it, the drive shaft takes much more of a beating. And, yeah, the jack shaft bearing's just fine. I think that's actually, if my memory's right, I actually did those not long before I parked it. So, we're going to leave that alone. All right, back to the skid. There's some life in that front shock. You can actually hear the hydraulics. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine for grass drags. And the back shock, well, I'll pop this top bolt out quick and we'll just check it. Yeah, that shock's fine. And that tells me that I did go through this skid. I remember it just being junk at one point, and I must have ran through the whole chassis. So, not much to do here, really. Just get this wheel back on, inspect all the bearings, change any that need to be changed, and grease. All right, pulling the skid's paying off. Junk. Yeah, that one's not bad. And this one really doesn't turn. That one's fine. That one's fine. That's good. I don't have to mess with that shaft. This one's junk. Good. Good. I believe, yep, that one's good too. That one's fine. We'll set it up quick before we check the others. There we go. Fine. We are changing that one. That one's fine. All right, so we got to change bolt on this shaft, this one, and this one. I think, yep, and that one was fine. So that's that. I'll mark them quick so I don't forget. Well, this is going to be a lot of fun. To even turn this, I had to get out the big dog electric. The 3/8 drive wouldn't do it. And then what it did is it spun the shaft in the middle and backed the bolt out. And look at all that white powdery corrosion on there. Worst case on this one, I'll just cut it and make a new one. But let's see what we can figure out right now. I'll try a couple things, bring you back, and tell you the answer. All right, here's my solution. So this wheel had to come off anyways. I took off the little wheel right here from here and another wheel here, and then I started loosening up here, loosened there, loosened all along the rail. Gave her a few wraps with the soft hammer, and it wasn't long till I could easily slip this sleeve off. That sleeve would be, here's its counterpart, and get a vice grip on the shaft. So let's hit this with the big dog and see what happens now. And I win. That's warm. Back to changing bearings. All right, working on the back axle. I'm sure you recall the wheel on this side was all askew. The bolt was part backed out. And indeed, there's the snap ring side. The other side, the plastic was all chewed up down to the bearing. That's the bearing right there. That's steel. So there's nothing holding the bearing in on that side. I couldn't find another wheel this size, and the only way I could see to fix it would be to machine another snap ring groove in, which I might do at some point. But for now, I found a bunch of other wheels that are slightly smaller. And most of them had a crack all the way from the inside to the outside of the plastic, and those ended up in here. So we're going to go with the slightly smaller wheels. They're still bigger than the original Indy rear wheels, and should still do the job, just to get the back of the skid up off the track, run it on the wheels. So I'll swap those over right now, and I'll bring you back with the fix so that bolt doesn't back out. And no, it's not Loctite. All right, here's the answer to these back axle bolts backing off. And it's a chronic problem here at the speed shop. So I spent the money and got later updated OEM parts. So the first is the washer, and you can probably see it's a cupped washer. It's basically a Belleville spring, 755-6130. And next is the patch bolt, 751-7731. That ain't coming loose. All right, I rounded up some skis, and they are of roughly the same quality as what's on there, except for the loop isn't broke off. And this one's just got a normal wear bar. This one's got nothing, but I got a normal wear bar for it. No need for carbide for grass drags. I mean, it's nice to turn around, but you can get by without it. And I think I'm going to lose the shocks when I change the skis, because don't really need them for grass dragging, and it's just added weight. It's not much, but it's something. All right, I got it all back together, and I'm sure you're thinking I should put in some fuel and pull the rope, but I forgot a couple things. Got to pull the muffler out again because I forgot to make sure the chain case is topped up. And, as I was kind of safety checking it, I remembered that, yeah, I got that going on. So, we'll see if this just needs fluid and pumps up or what's going on. It may end up getting an Indy master cylinder. If it does, I'm going to cut it off. Cut right through it, because otherwise you're going to take the grip off and try to slide it off, and it's always so corroded, you cut it off anyways. So I just go right to cut it off now. But we'll see if I have to do the Indy master cylinder, if I can bring this guy back to life. Other than that, I need to check, make sure the carbs are synced. And of course we'll have to figure out the idle mixture and all that stuff, and the idle speed, and align the track. But we're in the ballpark. It won't be long, and we'll be taking her for a test rip on the lawn. All right, I gave her a little juice and we got bubblage, so I think she's gonna work. In fact, I think it might be pumping up already. I'll do this for a while, probably spill a bunch more, and eventually the brakes will work. Alright, well, that was a big nothing. Filled it and bled it. Just bled it up here. I never even cracked the bleeder, and you can see she's working. You can hear it down there. That's all it took. Nice. Alright, I know I've shown this before, but it's a fill to spill deal. Fill it here till it comes out there. And I just got, today, I got a squirt bottle full of automatic transmission fluid. You want to take it kind of easy, otherwise you'll end up overfilling it, waiting for it to drip out. And the reason I don't like to overfill it is because then it makes me think I have a leak when it comes out around the shaft, which it inevitably will do, whether you really have a leak or not. I mean, I guess technically that's a leak, but the level's supposed to be before the, or below the shaft. So you shouldn't have it coming out. Here we go. All right, we'll let that dribble out a bit and put her back together and probably fire it up pretty soon. All right, I think it's time. I may have to give it a couple squirt bottles to, you know, get the fuel up to the carbs and get the float bowls filled. She's pumping. Farley approves. And of course, let it coast to a stop before you check your track tension and track alignment, which I'm going to do right now. Gave it a little tweak on the track adjusters, and hit the brakes and she stalls. Interesting. Let's try that again. That belt is definitely dragging. I'll have to take a look at that. Well, that would explain it. Oh boy, that clutch is stuck. All right, gonna have to look into that. Well, the weights are free. So this has been a good clutch for me over the years. I don't know what's dropping out of it. This, hopefully not mouse stuff. Well, maybe. This has been a good clutch for me over the years, and I want to crack it open and figure out what's wrong. But I can't do that with all that pressure on the spring, so let's see what we can do here. Let's see if we can knock it back. There we go. All right. So I guess I'll get all these screws off and get the thing apart. All right, I got my clutch fixture bolted down to the table. And yep, it's the right one. It locks in nicely. And I've got my tool for this lock nut on the P85. And I got that set to reverse. So we'll get the lock nut off first, obviously. All right. Nice lock nut, nice flange there. All right, now I gotta find my spider tool. We'll bolt this thing down and we'll break it off. There we go. I need some gloves. Let that cool off. Looks pretty good, as it should. I mean, this is a low mile clutch. Some shims in here. Plenty of evidence of Loctite in the threads. But what is making that movable face? What is making that stick so bad? Bushing doesn't look horrible. And, really, not a lot of corrosion or rust. That's a little weird. I'm going to play with it for a while. All right, I decided that other clutch has issues, and what's the point of doing this if I'm going to get up there and just fight a junk clutch all day? So, yep, swap meet find. This is what they call a 32 millimeter clutch, but it goes right on those old long tapers, and everything about it's better than the old clutch. It's got better bearings, it'll last longer. Obviously, it's easier to change the weights. You still got to take the cover off to change the spring, but even that's easier on this. So it's just more tunable, and I'm going to have a better time if I'm not, fighting a junk clutch. And who wants to go up there for the weekend, fight a junk clutch? If I did that, I'd come home and I'd just put this on anyways. Let's just do it now. And while I'm thinking about the clutch, I've got the good old AN handbook out. And a red spring, I believe a Polaris red, came out of there. Checking the chart, that was a 120-235. You'd have to run some pretty light weights with that. The lightest I got's a 1044. So I'm thinking I don't want to jump up to a 150 or 165 on engagement, but maybe I'll go to the blue spring, which is a 120-300, and see how that feels. Let's give it a shot. Oh, and I'm going to put 10 MR weights in it. They're 44 gram 10 series. That's where I'm starting at. I was just about to throw this on, and I thought to myself, hey, wait, how are you going to get that thing back off? I got to drill this out with an 11/16 drill bit, and then I'll put in the aluminum sleeve over the 7/16 bolt like all the 90s XLTs and other sleds had. Otherwise, I don't know that I have a puller that's going to work on this. So just a little more hassle, blow it apart again, chuck it up on the lathe, get it done. All right, I got this thing drilled out now, and you can see this goes right through that narrow spot. All right, first things first, let's make sure the clutch bolt's the right length. And yeah, this poor old sled, this hole in the belly pan's just a little low. You can force stuff to work, but easier to go around it. All right, that clutch bolt is adequate. It's got more than a diameter of threads, probably about 1.5. Remember, the washer just comes up flush. So next it's this aluminum sleeve. And this aluminum sleeve just goes around the bolt, keeps the bolt from whipping and flexing and fatiguing off. 90s stuff, XLTs. It takes the place of this plastic bushing that the closed face clutch used to have. And the length normally needs to be adjusted. And let me get you in here. And you can see it does need to be adjusted a little bit. And important note on that, there's like a hole in here that you would use to pull it out. Don't shorten that end, shorten the other end. And you want to back in, 3/16 or 1/4 of an inch, because you're going to stack a couple O-rings on the bolt. So we're almost done with this mess, at least with getting the new clutch on. All right, so I got that thing cut down. It's in there, maybe a little far, but no big deal. I'll just use 3 of these O-rings instead of 2. So, yeah, no big deal. So, a little weirdness with these clutches. So, I've used these before, and used them on TX340 free airs, in fact, and they've always worked. This time, you can see there's a bit of a gap in here. Can't quite get the clutches aligned, and I'm not sure what's up with that. That's never happened in the past. I don't know what to do here, because I pulled out all the shims. We're up on the machined steel inner core of the fixed part of the secondary. That's what stops on the bearing there. So I'm gonna try another one, and let's see how that one works out. All right, this one just makes it with no shims. Oh, look at that. We're bumping on the helix on the way around, but I do know how to fix that. So it's just these webs here that bump. So I got to check the calibration anyways. I'll pop the helix in the lathe, and I'll just trim those down a little bit. Might trim that whole surface down a little bit just for a little clearance. All right, so the clutch that came out had a red spring. It was at a red with silver spring. It was in the 3rd hole right there, and it's a recut 4634P progressive, I assume. Not a bad helix. I was running it for a long time, forgot what it was. So let's get that other one apart, and maybe we'll stick this calibration in it and see if the offset still works. All right, this one had a straight 36 in it, also a red spring. I don't know what the silver paint is on this. They really seem to be the exact same spring. Same wire, same number of windings, same diameter, everything. It's probably just a red spring with some silver junk on it. We'll pop this together and see what it does for us. Almost forgot. Got all excited. I do need to stick this in the lathe quick just to do a little clearance, just to clear these bolt heads or that flange or whatever it is that's rubbing. So might as well do that first. All right, close enough. It's essentially touching there. And the way these things work kind of bothers me, because really you want to set the relationship of this fixed to this fixed, but instead you're setting it of the fixed sheave on the primary to the movable on the secondary. And the reason that bothers me is because when you adjust this, the movable over here is what actually moves, and that changes that offset slightly. But did it really change your alignment? Did it really change from here to here? I'm going to say not much. So, yeah, this will do. The belt's, just a little proud. It's just about right. So, there we go. So here's something I must have done when I was in a hurry many, many years ago. There's no spacer here. There's just this stack of washers. And, yeah, it's shorter than the standard spacer. I got one right here, and it's way too long, as you can see. So I'm going to shorten up a spacer, make a new spacer, something like that. We'll get that done real quick. All right, there's the spacer I need for this application as compared to the normal one. The normal one's about an inch long. This is 600 thousandths. It'll work. It'll be a lot better than a stack of washers. Well, almost exactly 24 hours after I realized that clutch was stuck, here we are. 2 different clutches later. That was not cheap. But let's fire it up and get back to what we were doing, which was checking the track tension and the track alignment. Just checking the clutch engagement there. It looks like 5200. Good enough for starters. Alright, that seems like a lot happier on the clutches. So we'll get this track stuff taken care of quick. Alright, just thought I'd show you this before I take it off the table. Even though these back wheels are slightly smaller than what I used to run, look, we're nowhere near running on the high facts. The wheels are carrying it everywhere except for right here in the curve, which is fine. So just wanted to point that out. I ran 3 hot laps and yeah, she's warm. So I got the battery cooled fan out here. I won't make you listen to it, but we're gonna cool it down before we do any more test hits. All right, that took quite a while with that blower to get this thing cooled down. It is 80 degrees out right now and it's kind of humid, but we'll make one more hit, maybe 2. I really like riding this thing, but we'll make at least one more hit. Now we'll make 2 more, and then we'll put her away and give you some final thoughts. It's Sunday today. Last Sunday is when I dragged it out of its hibernation spot where it's been. And I'm really happy with it. I'm happy I got done in 1 week. I love this sled and I can't wait to get up to twin ports. And with that said, I want to say a huge thanks to the patrons. I really appreciate your support. For those that don't know, the patrons give us a small donation each month, and in return they get to see all the videos early and ad-free over on Patreon, and they'll get patron-only videos. And as you can see, their names are up on the screen, and there is 2 screens worth of patron names. I also want to say a huge thanks to everybody that's given us a super thanks. I put everybody's name up on the screen. Now, it may not be the next video after you get the super thanks, because sometimes, you know, videos are in the queue for 2, 3, 4 weeks. Just depends on what's going on. And we'll see you on the trails.